Oh, yeah. So I need that crying Irvin Cowboys tee. That makes two of us, Tina. Makes two of us. All right. It's time for Game Theory, presented by Microsoft Surface. Cynthia Frelund returns. How do you have Derrick Henry sitting out affecting your Saints-Titans?
It moved it in way more the Saints' favor. I already had the Saints winning by 2 prior to that, but now it went up to 4, 27-23. Saints win this one. Michael Thomas, who could be chasing history, probably will happen next week per my model. 9 receptions, 101 yards in the touchdown. Still wide receiver #1. And you know what? It's entirely possible that he could go over it now. But, you know, look, it's already the #1 projection, so you can't get higher than that.
I'm sure on occasion he has outperformed your model this year.
Yes,
so,
it never projects over 100 yards. So, yes, yeah.
Now then. It appears Michael Irvin isn't the only person on the set wearing green who thinks the Eagles are winning today. He chose them as some sort of reverse jinx. You have them as your upset of the week. Your model says Eagles win this one.
It's like a 51%. It's kind of a coin flip either way on this one, but I have 24-23. It's, like I said, 51% of the simulations. Very close in this one. Miles Sanders, though, is one of the keys to the game. He's projected for 89 scrimmage yards, a touchdown, with 3 receptions, making him running back #12. If you look to see what the Eagles do, they kind of sneaky run the ball more than when you close your eyes and just think of them. So Miles Sanders, big day today.
Well, you intend to be right by choosing the Eagles. Irvin's getting very upset that his pick as a reverse jinx might be wrong.
Or maybe I just want the T-shirt.
We'll get you one. Your penultimate lock of the week is Doom.
Lamar Jackson, Ravens 30, Browns 18. I have Lamar Jackson projected for 251 passing yards, 2 touchdowns through the air, 55 rushing yards, and probably a touchdown on the ground as well. That's 3 touchdowns in the projection. My model is kind of in favor of thinking that the Ravens will play him a lot this game and maybe not so much next week. So kind of get that MVP campaign in the can and move forward.
It looks like a nice crisp day there in Ohio as well for that big game. That's Cynthia Frelund's Game Theory presented by Microsoft Surface. Let's get some final reporter whip around conversations going, starting with Mike Garafolo in Philly. Mike?
Rich, when the Eagles faced the Cowboys in Week 7, they started fumble, dug themselves a hole early that they could not climb out of. So the emphasis today against Dallas is not only to start fast on offense, but start safe. No early turnovers. Now to Jane Slater.
Hey, Mike, this has always been a storied rivalry, but it definitely has a playoff feel this year. It was Sean Lee, a Pennsylvania native, who said he cautioned his dad against wearing Cowboys gear here because there's a 50-50 shot he might get in a fight. And it was Jeff Heath who said this is one of those rare places where a 90-year-old woman will throw you the bird. And I'm not talking about the mascot. Now to Kim Jones in Cleveland.
Jane, Sheldon Richardson said the Browns' goal today, give Lamar Jackson his worst game as a pro. We'll see. The Ravens, with a win, clinch the #1 seed in the AFC. Now to Tom Pelissero in East Rutherford.
Kim, Le'Veon Bell took the field about 10 minutes ago, shared a hug with former Steelers teammate Ryan Shazier, as well as Coach Mike Tomlin, even shook hands with General Manager Kevin Colbert. A warm welcome, as predicted, from the Steelers, who have bigger things on their mind now. They can move one step closer to a playoff spot by beating Bell and the Jets. Here's Tiffany Blackman in Nashville.
Tom, Titans receiver A.J. Brown has emerged as Ryan Tannehill's go-to guy. He's got 4 touchdowns in the last 4 games. And when I spoke with him this week, he told me the QB receiver bond is built on trust. I'm building trust every time I catch the ball. And one other note, the Saints recently signed corner Janoris Jenkins. He is active today. Rich?
Okie dokie. So let's pick this one. Am I going first on this one? I'm going Fleur-de-Lis. I'm taking the Saints. Of course you are. Steve.
Yeah, when you don't have Derrick Henry.
Ian, what do you have for me over there, sir?
Yeah, I'm not so sure Irvin is correct about that. But anyway, let's get to some of the big active and actives for today. And first of all, the biggest surprise, Derrick Henry, starting running back for the Tennessee Titans and one of the most productive running backs in the NFL, is officially inactive for Tennessee. He did not have a setback for his hamstring. This really has to do with resting him this week, making sure he's 100% next week for when the game, as far as making the playoffs. Another player whose status we have been monitoring, DJ Chark, the Jacksonville Jaguars receiver. He's been dealing with an ankle injury. He is officially active active after just a one-game absence. Certainly some help there. Meanwhile, Jamal Adams, the star safety for the Jets, he's also been battling an ankle injury. He is officially active. Some help on the back end there. And then maybe a little fantasy help. Kerryon Johnson, the starting running back for the Detroit Lions, missed most of the season after having knee surgery. He is officially going to be active today, and from what I understand, expected to be treated like a starter, going to get a ton of carries. Meanwhile, for the Monday night game, Vikings running back Dalvin Cook, battling a shoulder injury and a chest injury, he is going to be out. And now let's send it to Michael Fabiano for some more fantasy stuff.
Thanks, Ian. Great stuff. Time for the DraftKings Fantasy Preview. And as you can see, I like the Seahawks this week against Arizona. Great matchup there. Russell Wilson and Jacob Hollister, a nice stack there. Remember, the Cardinals give up a ton of fantasy points to tight ends. Also starting Joe Mixon, who's been one of the hottest running backs in fantasy football. Great matchup against the Dolphins. Saved a little bit of money there so I can get Devontae Parker in my lineup as well, and Julio Jones, who should put up a huge stat line today against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And then DeAndre Washington, a nice sleeper for fantasy owners with Josh Jacobs out against the LA Chargers.
DraftKings is the official daily fantasy partner of the NFL. And today only, new players can play free for $500,000 in prizes with your first deposit. Download the app and sign up using
Game Day Morning presented by Lowe's, hour number 3 here on the show. And Santa Mooch has visited, in case you missed it. My new favorite T-shirt, Santa Mooch gave to Michael Irvin, which is you.
Right here.
The crying Michael.
I think you should wear it, Mike.
Yeah, it's a good T-shirt.
Got my
man.
Houdini magic set.
It's good. To set up
a little bit like Michael Jordan crying emoji.
There we go. Also, by the way, to set up this conversation, I received a text from one Stephen A. Smith.
Oh, man.
Who said he texted you, oh, yeah, I'm watching. Don't get shy now, Mr. Leprechaun.
Oh. Yeah.
Hey.
So I told him I would bring that to the people.
You better make that phone call when he sees the Cowboys winning. He only calls me when they're losing. He only hits me, man. My phone never rings when they're winning. I just want him to know. I'm waiting on that call today.
Game on the line. Game on the line
Game
today.
on the line.
The quarterback you trust the most would be Kurt which?
I'm going with Dak. I mean, we saw the numbers there. Dak throughout his career has been really good in the moment when they need it. Look at the weapons around him. You know, I mean, we keep talking about it with Carson Wentz. I mean, in every facet I say Dak has the advantage. Now, Carson Wentz has been good in the moment this year. We've seen it the last couple weeks. So maybe if it's close, maybe you lean that direction. But I just see too much in Dak's favor that I'm giving the advantage to Dak.
Yeah, and I say Dak also. You know what I find very interesting here as we talk about Carson Wentz the last couple weeks have had game-winning drives. Back-to-back game-winning drives the last couple weeks. Perfect. Did not throw any incompletions in those game-winning drives.
That throw to Ward was a beautiful try. He dropped that in beautifully.
Beautiful.
Right.
He really is. And then he has 3 this season. But he has 5 total. When you say game on the line, my mind goes to, hey, I need that last drive. Dak Prescott has 14 in his career right now. What's that mean?
0 this year.
0 this year. That's why I say in his career.
I was just career. I was bringing it to the people.
All right,
I'm just completing the story.
I don't need you to help me with my numbers.
Completing the story.
I don't need you to help me with my numbers. He has 14. I'm taking Dak with game on the line because of that 14.
Okay. I'm going to take Dak with a caveat. You know what a caveat is?
No, what's that?
Not a cavity, a caveat, all right? Because Dak, he's playing, he's got the index finger fractured, he's got the shoulder, he's got some injuries, right? He's got to toughen it up and play hurt, all right? But he's got all his weapons, Rich. You got all your weapons right here, right? You feel good, you feel whole. The other guy, Carson Wentz, I'm going to tip my hat to that guy. Hasn't been the greatest of seasons for him, but the last couple of weeks, he's playing with guys that were running plays off the cards for the first couple months of this season. And you know what? He's come from behind to win, found a way to win, found a way to be productive some way, somehow. Yeah, you got Zach Ertz, he's a great player. But Carson Wentz has really proven a lot to me. But you're talking about game online today.
Yes.
Well, I'm going with the guy with all the weapons that are ready to go, you know, Dak here.
So it's Dak across the board. You know, and I go with whatever weapons are at my disposal, too. Just like some other old over-the-hill Michigan guy, right, Mike?
Listen, no, I just said, you see how he's straightened up and things are straightening up. All because of the quarterback straightening up. Listen, I knew it
By
was
the way,
in him.
if you missed our Patriots discussion an hour or two, please seek it out.
Good job.
One, that's the Ravens' all-time
Florida boy.
single-season touchdown pass mark weeks ago, when everyone was wondering or believing, most people, that it was a flash-in-the-pan half season for Lamar Jackson last year, with the Los Angeles Chargers absolutely unmasking this offense and the quarterback. Now Lamar Jackson is the de facto MVP of this league, and we know that they're a one seed. What is the biggest concern for this team, Steve, entering the postseason for Baltimore and Lamar?
Familiarity. All right. So defensive coordinators are tough guys, but they're also smart guys. All right. And if you have played them, whether you beat them or not, the second time around, you're a little bit better prepared to practice against this stuff, to defend this stuff, put guys on the dive, on the quarterback, on the pitch, on all this pass stuff down the field. And you know what? Just like the Browns lost last year and then beat them the first time around this year. You know what? The Los Angeles Chargers, they lost to them and then they beat them in the playoffs because of familiarity. And all these teams